During these layoffs, you hear people saying ridiculous things like the only people getting laid off are people who are bad at their jobs, or people who get laid off really deserve it. But it's just not true. Like when you look at a lot of these tech companies, for example, that laid people off, a lot of it is for those earlier stage companies. They were trying to get headcount because that was what success looked like to the VC and the people who were investing in the companies. The more headcount you had, the more successful you were. So you saw a lot of these later stage startups really amping up their headcount so they could get ready for an IPO and get a high valuation, and so everybody could get mega rich. Um, with companies like Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, it's just because they did a bad job at forecasting what their sales were going to be. So a lot of this is in theory, they plan what their sales forecasts are going to be. And a lot of times they're just ridiculous. I mean, they're looking at tripling and doubling their sales year over year. It just doesn't make sense. And so what happens is people come into the mix and they could be highly talented, they could be really, really skilled at their job, but they get pulled into these crazy valuations. And then suddenly something like this happens where the market shifts, there's a lot of negativity in the marketplace, and suddenly everybody's anticipating less sales. And what it costs is tens of thousands of people their livelihood. It creates anxiety and it creates fear. But it's really just all rooted in corporate greed. And I think a lot of us who have been in the corporate world, we've seen this happen over and over, and we just kind of come to accept it. But I think we got to come to a point where leaders at these companies start to get held accountable more. People start to go to social media and tell their stories. And at the end of the day, we need to stop chasing and memorializing these huge companies and believing into this fact that jobs are stable, the stability, that these companies treat you like family and they care. It's just not true. It's greed. They want money and they really don't care about you. That's the truth.